little bit better, right? Swept the floor, put down the Dryzol, you know, pick up all the oil spots and everything. Rearranged everything. So now we got, that's ready. We'll lift that up sometime in this week or end of the week or beginning of next. Everything's basically stored in here. That'll come out. A few more things will get moved around. This is going to get cleaned up here. We're going to get the, I want to move this, right? We're going to move this back into the shop. Move this, put the, what it used to be here, which was the sandblaster, which would be nice, the bead blaster. And we'll get some more of this kind of cleaned up as we go. But like I said, the floor has been de-oiled with the Dryzorb. We'll move this big table that I made, the lift table, probably in here, over in here. Because I'm not going to keep this much stuff in here. Didn't do much of anything else. You know, entire garbage pile of junk and a big garbage bin of cardboard. Which today was cardboard day and I didn't get it out in time. Let's take a look over here. I just cleaned up a little bit. Didn't get everything done. I'm exhausted now. My back is killing me. My feet hurt. You know, I'm getting old. Back injury. So I didn't get this guy out yet, but we will. So this is a little bit neater with stuff stacked properly. And this started to go flat again, so yeah, it's flat. So rather than have it cause more problems, I just wedged that underneath. Didn't get to this yet. Didn't get to all of this yet, but I got to this. So these guys are put to the side. So deep storage, and these are the rollers. So it's in a nice position right now. We will be getting to this one soon because I want to use it. All right, that's it. End of the day up to, I gotta get back to work. I got stuff to do. Does it look any different? All right, I'm gonna be pulling some of this stuff out in a little while. But what is different is I got disc racks starting to set up. So good used and some new blades. There's probably $500-600, well, probably $500 worth of blades there. And we got the sandblaster in here now. I got this whole thing rearranged and cleaned up so it's no longer a nightmare. I'm pretty sure, I think we're going to try to mount this in this area. Maybe just put it down with 2 bolts on wing nuts or something. So if I need to move it. I could also put it in the shed. We'll get to that. We've got to clean this area out today. That's going to get moved. And then this table that I made, which is on my channel, which is really useful, but it's, see what I'm doing with it? That's not good. My goal is to see if we can put it over in this area here, either running lengthwise or across the back, like I originally had it. And then some of this will go in the shed because I'm freeing up a lot of room. I also want to get the table saw in here because I can't use it out there. I'm not using it, so then I don't want to use it. All right, let's see what the day brings. It's a late start, but I did a lot yesterday. All right, so the idea here, I mean, I could roll it, but it's difficult rolling across the grass. The idea here is to figure out how to, what it can lift and how to load it, right? So I came up with this, because that's a nice sturdy mount down there, and then just a chain throwing over it with a hook. I could pull it back more. These don't down there, that got a couple down here, they don't quite reach, so I don't know, maybe do something with that later on. Anyway, it's also going to help too to push it up the ramp to get it in the shed. And we got to get to work on his tires and bearings. So yeah, I got to move the table saw, and again, this will help me get it up this ramp and into the shed. And you could tow it too, but this seemed to work pretty good. I mean, you know, when you're getting older and you have a bad back, and I've been doing this for days now already, and I'm starting to get to the end of the point where I can't do much more. I need to take it easy. So this just saved, you know, some effort, and again, trying to figure out how to load. Right, I kind of like these straps. So I keep this stuff around and I keep it in that ammo box so I know what kind of load I can lift. This thing's heavy. This is ours. We're going to fix this soon. All right, be back in a bit. It lost a little bit of traction for a few minutes, but you know, you just hit the locker and well, away you go. And I don't even have everything out. But my guess is, you know, this is what happens, okay? And I've had too many things in this shed that really don't belong, so it's time to address it one more time. See, it's just, you know, you just open up continuous cans of worms. Can't get to any of those tools because there's always something in the way, so everything got to come out and at least off the floor for the most part, sweep it up, clean up a little here, and we'll reorganize. And I want to get the winter stuff to the back. I don't know why I've been keeping this guy back here, but it's like mint now. That's my old, you know, wheelbarrow. It's a concrete wheelbarrow for mixing concrete. All right, let me get back in here and fool around. I want to get everything in a nice order. Somehow I got to get all this back in again. Got my snow babies ready. So they're all pretty much ready to go for next year. That's good enough. Oh, it had it up in the air for sure. All right, let me get rid of, discombobulate it to figure out where I want to put it now. All right, everything's broom swept. It's a little messy, but I got some room in here to put a few extra machines or overflow stuff I work on and complete. Like I said, I got it's a little messy, but it's dusty. Cold storage mostly back there, and I forgot to put that away, but it's a little bit moldy and I might want to do something with it or throw it out. Pretty much everything all back in there, right? So we have snow machines towards the front, spreaders, generator towards the front. Everything's all now accessible. Of course, my main lawnmower. And so this is what needs to be in here for now. I gotta go finish up now. I gotta see if we can get this thing around to the front. So that's next. It's locked on. Ain't gonna go nowhere. It's locked down there. Alright. Oh, spider. Come here, you. Go away. Alright, it's locked on. Let me move it to the front. I can't roll it. The wheels are too small. And I can't. Yeah. This'll work. I'm tired. What are you doing, doggy? What's he doing? He doesn't know. Old geezer. Getting empty in here. All right, we're going to move the big table in a bit. This thing worked good. I'm not really sure of it. This is heavy. This is a cast iron top, you know, few horsepower motor. It's heavy, but mostly bulky. And like I said, you can't move it with these wheels across the lawn. I think I moved it on a frozen day when the ground is frozen and flat. I'm not sure what this thing can lift, what kind of monster I made, but certainly as I pulled it back, and see it's up against the bumper there, I think we need to make another bumper for it. But it's definitely capable, and I didn't even really do anything with the geometry. Like when I made the lifting bar, you know, the lifting mechanism, I made it to what was known to be a stock dimension. I would improve it more. You can't do much with the lifting cylinder that's in there. I suppose you could put a bigger one in if you could find something of that size, but what we can do a lot easier is deal with the fulcrum and actually fool around with the geometry. But before I do that, I'd like to see if I could make some kind of an attachment for the back. There is an output shaft back there, okay, and that's to turn a pump and such. So you have PTO. There's no electrical PTO, whatever. It's just a dry shaft, and I think I have a shaft that connects to it. I would put some jack shafts and rocker shafts back here and make a cherry picker. And you could also drag machines around and pick them up and pull big motors out, and, you know, small engine motors. All right, let me, got a couple more things to do. I want to drag the big table in here, figure out where I want to put it. Then we'll bring in the saw. Then I got to bring in all these attachments to the saw and whatever, and just put them in. And then with this free space, we're going to set up the parts washer, which needs to be cleaned out. It's got mung in it. It's got, it's all sludge, sand and filth. I got to get that out of there. I got to do this before the end of the night because it's going to rain tomorrow, and I'm almost done. My back is killing me. If I don't stop soon, I'll be stopped. It will stop me. So that's why I like having, you know, like an attachment like that on a tractor to move things around. This takes a lot of load off. You gotta get a load off. Good. Not bad. That's all we do. All right. Next. Just the worst job. This is like the third cleaning. A lot of the paint just peeled right off. I had repaired this once before. There's this little bit of brazing in there. So I don't want to get too crazy with it. I'm just going to give it another wash or two. Same thing over there. And then let me go grab this because we're going to clean this too. And see how this is. Make sure nothing's leaking. That can be repaired easy because it's PVC. But this was already repaired, so when I bring it in tomorrow, we'll set it up tomorrow and check it for leaks. I don't know if I'm going to fix it again. I guess it depends upon how bad it leaks, but hopefully I caught it in time, and this time I'm not spraying any paint or anything on it. We're just going to use it the way it is. It's a slop tank. All right, that's enough. Just let it drip dry. We'll check it for leaks tomorrow. I'm going to bring it in a minute. Getting it clean with SuperClean. It's doing a great job. I just got to rinse this off and just let it soak. SuperClean helping out. Works on so many things. It gets all that scum. See, it all loosened it all and everything. We're going to check it out tomorrow. We'll be back. All right, a couple of days later, I'm going to wash that out. I don't think there's any leaks in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with the wire wheel after I just get that muck out of there. Go around the whole thing, and then I'm going to hit it with the DTM acid that I like to use, right? And then get it dried in the sun. And then I have some old leftover epoxy primer. It's epoxy primer sealer. And once it's cured, it's sealed. It's designed to seal everything underneath it and everything above it from getting to underneath. You have about 48 hours to put a top coat. I think I'll just use some of the VW paint, which is a single stage enamel hardened. Excuse me, it's a two-stage right? So it's a hardener and a paint, but it's a single stage in the sense of the clear is already in it. We don't care if it's white, right? We just want a good quality paint that's hardened, that will harden up and cure, not on its own. What was on here was Rust-Oleum, I believe, and probably brushed on or whatever, and it did pretty good for a couple of years. So let's see how it comes out. Okay, all right, you see that white? So I used the SuperClean, you know, cleaner after I wire wheeled and everything to get, because it's grease, it's grease and rust, and it's kicking up all the, you know, the gook that's stuck to everything. Then I used my DTM acid, and then SuperClean. Okay, this is all wheel cleaner. Foams away grime, brake dust. Why? It's got acids in it. Let me see if I can read off a few here. Hang in there. Contains oxalic acid, urea, monohydrochloride, and urea sulfate. All right, these are acids. Particularly good at getting off certain rusts and things. It looks good. It's basically treated. I'm just going to wipe it with the brush, the bristle brush. Give it a few minutes and get it all rinsed dry, and I'll wipe it down. And we're going to leave it sit in the sun for a little bit. I did find a small hole on the side. I forget where it is. We'll find it. Small. There may be others. I figure what we'll do is we'll get it all clean and dry, and I'll put some putty on it. You know, epoxy putty. Let that set up, and then maybe later on, after I clean up and stuff, we'll get some of that epoxy primer on there. I mean, I might brush it on for a nice thick coat. And probably leave it overnight. All right, I found two little spots. So small holes. So on the inside, I put a marine text, you know, marine epoxy, with a little bit of screen. And I guess we'll just leave that to, you know, till tomorrow. And it's getting late anyway, and I'm going to go work on the sink. Yeah, just leave it. I just kind of wire wheeled the front, cleaned it off, and then in here I just wiped it off, and a little bit of screen and some of that nice putty. All right, this is almost ready to go. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. We're going to start on this in a little bit. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I got the sink. You probably can't see it, but I just put just a down spout, a simple one. I think it's brass, and just something simple to extend it down into a toilet tank. So it'll just drain into that for now. Took that off, and because the water is over here, I put a water bib over here. So I made this up real fast, and that way we have control here and the valve there. There's actually two valves there, so I can kind of set up any way I want. Problem I have though right now, that leaks a little bit. We got to replace this shut off. I just replaced two of them. I got a leak over here. All right, somewhere the water pipe comes down along the ground. I probably shouldn't have put it down there, but I figured all the tools would be here, and I didn't think anything would hit it. It's back there, it's insulated, but you can see it's getting wet over here. It's been leaking. I have to keep shutting it off. It's leaking from there, so we gotta, oh my God, guys, pulling all these tools out to get to find where that leak is. Hopefully, yeah, these things are so heavy. Now these are really heavy. That at least is on wheels, but just moving this thing without everything on top is a nightmare. So I have to keep shutting it off over there for now. So that's got to get fixed. That's got to be on my list. That's a day job, right? Consider a day. But we have this working when I need it. And rather than just constantly come over here to the bib and turn that handle, I thought this would be good. So I'll replace this in the future. So that's a bonus, right? Rinse things off. It's mostly for the lousy days, like rainy days, really cold days. Let's get to this thing now. Let me show you the paint. Eastwood's. This is old, right? This is old. This is Part A, Part B, epoxy primer sealer. And I think I mentioned that already. It's a sealer. After about, I forget what the window is, maybe 48 hours or 72 hours or something like that, in order to recoat and put anything on top of this, you have to like Scotch-Brite it or sand it to get the skin off. We use this to seal any layers below it. So if you have an older paint job and you don't want to strip everything down and you sand it and you work it for a little bit and you're pretty happy and now you want to start with new work, you put this on the top. If you've done all your work and you don't want bleed through and you're kind of pushing the job and then you want a top coat, you put this on top. You won't get bleed through issues. If you've been working on an area for a while and there's maybe some areas where there's some Bondo and some, sandable primer and you want to work it a little bit more, but you keep sanding through, right, the layers and you're not feathering well, you want to lock down the work that's underneath, you put this on, you let it dry completely, and then you go back to work. When you go to sand something like this, it's not sandable primer. So everything underneath it is going to remain the way the way you left it or the way you made it. And when you're working on top of it, you'll find that with 240 grit, even 80 grit or 100 grit, you're working in those grits, this is going to resist those sandpapers. So it's really durable. I'm just trying to give you a brief explanation as to where you would use this and why. It's sealed. Most primers are porous. That's not. Once it seals up, it's rock hard and it is not porous. So I'd say the other thing you could probably use other than this I have, right? You could use maybe either in a spray can or you can buy it in a multi-part hardened type of paint. You can use like an appliance epoxy. So that's another thing if you have a tank like this and you want to save it. Let's open this up and take a peek inside. See how it's separating? But that's okay because it actually helps protect the product from drying out. All right, let me mix up some of this stuff. I think I'm going to try putting it in a little cup or something. A little plastic cup and brush it on, right? Rather than puke up a spray gun and then have to clean it out, we could just stick it in a cheap brush and get it on there. But it's two-part, pretty much is 1-to-1, right? It's a 1-to-1, so it's real simple to deal with.
The next day.
All right, it's the next day. I forgot to paint these guys, but that's okay. We'll give them a coat. I'm not doing it today. The doors and windows are kind of closed. It's not that nice out. I don't want... This stuff really stinks, right? It's got a lot of chemicals in it that... I mentioned to it, I think, yesterday or whenever, open air, fresh environment. It's pretty thick. It's definitely dry. Problem is, if I don't coat it now, I can't coat it really tomorrow because I don't know, I may have to scuff it, which is okay because then it's a mechanical bond and it's not a chemical bond. But I don't think we really need another coat. This stuff is kind of shiny, right? It's very plastic. It's basically... Well, it's like a paint-on plastic. It's epoxy. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it later. Like I said, without the windows open today, this is going to stink. Like, it's not good to breathe in. But I think we did okay. I think it has a good layer on it. All right, so I worked a little bit late last night. I'm shot today. I'm taking the day off to relax. Look, I packed everything in here, and I managed to get all of that in here, which is amazing. Because it's a lot of equipment, and I still have enough room to walk. Just barely, but that's all I need. Right? I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. Tomorrow's another day. I'll get on it tomorrow. Still got to get the belt size and order that, but I'll get to it. And that's the machine we got to work on next, right? We got to do the motor on it. So I cleaned it off yesterday. It's been pressure washed, so we'll be able to pull that motor and not have grease and filth all over us. And I think overall we got a nice work area for different things. So I got another good work area and plenty of room in the shop for doing other stuff. See, there's more room here for the stand, and if I need to overflow, if I need to park something in here, once I neaten it up, it'll be fine. I put a whole bunch of this stuff into a bucket, hot water, dilute it, and then a little bit of laundry detergent too. So that's not bad. All right, I got this painted today. It's still a little tacky, but we should be able to put it in. It didn't come out great, but it's good enough. Let's turn that on. All right, get that sort of cleaned out a bit. That's not bad. And like I said, with a little bit of laundry detergent, it's really just a wash slop tank. They make some nice products for this, but most of the time what I'll do is I'll put something in with SuperClean up here. and then, or I'll let it soak in here for a little while, or in a container soaking, and then I rinse it off in here. And now I have the added advantage of also rinsing it off in here, either straight in, like in a bucket, or straight into the bucket below. I can use more clean water, so it just, you know, a little more versatile. I don't see any leaks. Everything's fine. So I think we'll be good to go. And I'm tired. This broke. This is, and I put this on a while back. So today I just cleaned it up, put some putty around it, and then probably by tomorrow or something it should be fine. I can put some of the trays back and everything later. But I'm tired. I got some stuff done today, but not as much as I really wanted. But that's fine. We should be fine. I'm excited. This cleaning section is ready to work.